I'm Travis Bushaw, your 2025 Iowa Realtors State President, and I'm here with Justin Hayes, our Iowa Realtors General Counsel. We're going to kind of review a little bit of the discussions we've had and some of the progress that's been made with VA loans. Our VA buyers obviously have worked very hard and have represented our country in a way that they've deserved this. And with the changes in buyer agency because of the settlement and state code, we've talked about what does that look like in ensuring that they have access to not only real estate, but to be able to use this loan product. And so we know that last year, the VA was very adaptive and flexible to these changes. And so we've made a lot of progress. One of the things that has kind of come up over the course of the last couple months is VA requesting a copy of the buyer agreement that's been signed from the buyer's agent. And we've had buyer's agents questioning, do I have to provide a copy of that? Do you have a right to that? Is there a privacy issue if I send you that since you're not a party to it? And so we've had some discussions about that. So let's kind of kick it off with that, Justin. What in the capacity of the buyer's agent should we be doing when that request is made?
Yeah, so long as we're limiting the discussion to VA loans, right?
Yeah, just VA here.
Yep. You should be providing a copy of that buyer's agreement. I mean, ultimately, it's facilitating the transaction. It's making sure that that buyer has access to that loan that they've, served and earned, right? Served for and earned. And the VA does have the right to request a copy of that buyer's agreement, and you should be providing that.
Yeah, and some recent guidance we got from the VA, it was because they need to ensure that the commission, if it needs to be on the settlement statement, is actually getting put onto there.
Correct.
They also need to ensure that if there are any other fees that are be charging to that VA buyer that are happening outside of closing, that they're fully aware of those.
Absolutely.
And so that's been interesting as we've talked through transaction fees, different fees that brokerages charge and on top of commission. The VA has also said, hey, that is compensation. And so you need to ensure that if you are charging those, that not only do we know about it, but that it needs to be in your buyer agreement, that you may be charging a percentage or a flat fee plus an additional amount. And so not something we had really discussed as we've gone through and done training through our association at the local level, but something we're in conversations with now. So I guess the next piece of that is, what does that maybe look like for other types of loan products, conventional loans, or is that just something we're going to keep an eye on?
Yeah, no, it's definitely something we're going to keep an eye on. I do think you are going to get requests for those buyer agreements for conventional loans. It'll be the same deal. And again, it's going to get to a question of, are you doing what's in your client's best interest, and are you facilitating the transaction?
Yes.
But you do have to also ask that real question of what is in the client's best interest, right? Yeah. And you have to weigh those interests against each other, whether it's protecting their confidentiality or protecting the privacy of that actual agreement versus getting them into the house that they want, right? Yeah. And one of those, I think, is going to outweigh the other.
But and that's the question we've been asked from agents is, do they need this? What purpose does this serve of them having it? And then the conversation also has been, but if this gets the job done, what does it hurt?
Yes.
And so that's where we've seen lenders saying, hey, it's underwriting saying they need this. And if this is the thing we're waiting on and it's going to potentially disrupt or make it so that we can't get this loan product, like, what do you need to do for your client? That's the conversations we've had. But we know at this point, VA is saying, we're going to ask for a copy. You need to provide a copy. And our thought is, you should provide that copy, especially because your client then has the opportunity to move forward.
That's basically it. That's Perfect. A great wrap up of it.
All right, Justin, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll keep an eye on what happens with some of our other loan products.
Appreciate it.